What's up, everyone? It's your buddy Jayrassic, and I'm hoping that you're having the best day of your entire life today. And welcome back to another episode of Reptile Gardens out of Rapid City, South Dakota. Today we're going to be working on the Sky Dome, which is one of the centerpiece attractions that is in the center of Reptile Gardens. And, I gotta say, it was a little challenging because it's been a while since I actually built a dome, but at the same token, it all came out pretty decent. As you can see, here's a picture of the Sky Dome here, and I tell you what, it is a very beautiful piece of architecture, and it kind of has a almost a Mexican or Spanish vibe to it, and honestly, I really enjoyed building it, just for the main fact. I kind of did something a little different than what I'd done in the past. Instead of actually manually angling the pieces, since this is a pretty good spherical, I went ahead and actually just kind of made the sides like you're seeing right now. What I end up then doing at that point is turning it at a 45 or 90 degree angle upright and just revolving around, as you're going to see here in just a few moments here after I get rid of a few of these pieces here. So with that being said, it took a little while for me to kind of figure that out. I don't know why, to be honest. Like I said, I've done this before. As you can see, I'm kind of doing it a couple different times, doing a few test runs here just to see how it matches up and lines up and everything. And for the most part, it does pretty good. So to give you a little bit of history of the Sky Dome. The Sky Dome was actually built in 1965 when the Reptile Gardens was forced to move to the construction of the new highway, and moving to its current location, they made some improvements which featured the Sky Dome with a safari room. The large enclosure area gave visitors a rare opportunity to walk amongst free-roaming reptiles and birds. Although this kind of exhibit has become pretty common in zoos today, Earl, the founder of Reptile Gardens, was among the first to envision and create one right here in the United States. However, in August of 1976, tragedy struck the Sky Dome. A fire burst out within inside the fire dome, and all the aluminum and plastic upper dome structures that housed the main reptile exhibits and the safari room burned. The plastic dome burned to the ground. The plastic dome melted and covered everything below. The heat weakened the aluminum structure, collapsing into the safari room. Sadly, hundreds of reptiles and birds died, some of which were irreplaceable. Although the huge old Ponderosa pine skeleton in the center of the safari room narrowly escaped being crushed, and the old tree still remains the centerpiece of the safari room today. A new dome with exhibits was built over the course of the following winter, and the safari room was planted with cactus and exotic plants brought in by the semi-loads. New animals were obtained from far and wide, and all were ready to reopen in the spring of 1977. So, even though tragedy took place at the zoo, they still were able to endure and create a really great small attraction, and still, being as small as they are, still the largest reptile zoo within the world. Again, in case you haven't heard, in the last video, the Reptile Gardens house approximately 255 subspecies and species of reptiles. They also have birds and also small mammals and insects as well. So yeah, it's a really nice all-around little family attraction is probably the best way to describe it. Now, if you're looking to have it a high budget scale type zoo like the San Diego Zoo or the Omaha Zoo, then this honestly isn't the place to visit. You're going to be pretty disappointed. But just for the ability of how small it is and that it's still privately owned, I gotta say Reptile Gardens has kept up very well within the competition of zoo attractions, especially in the Rapid City area. So, yeah, nonetheless, we're not going to be doing any animals today in this episode, nor are we going to be doing a lot of foliage work inside. I just basically wanted to show the progress of the dome itself. And I gotta say, I'm really happy with the way it worked. I actually did two different versions of it, it was definitely one thing that I was trying to explore with was not only just building a dome in this manner, but also doing a null habitat throughout the dome itself. So then animals can walk through, and we can go ahead and have guests walk through as well, exactly the way it is in real life. Now, what I use for the glass, since it is a one-way glass on the actual dome itself in real life, I went ahead and did the same thing. So then that way, it kind of gave it a translucent, which honestly, when it comes down to recreating my lead jungle, I'm probably going to use the same type of glass for the roof that I did for this dome here, because as translucent as the dome itself, or the lead jungle in the Omaha Zoo, is not as translucent as you think it may be. The previous one I did, I had just clear glass, but it's more of an opaque glass, and that's something that we may have to try and capture in the next recreation of the lead jungle. So, you know, all in all, I do plan on putting in some mods and so forth into this one. I want to definitely use the desert monitor mod that they have, the iguana habitat animal that they are using, as well, or that has been created. I also want to use the Asian water monitor. I'll probably definitely put in saltwater crocodile. There is a Nile crocodile exhibit in here, so I will probably go ahead and use the Nile crocodile mod, as well as a couple caimans, and then of course some in-game animals such as the Komodo dragon and the Nile monitor. So with those, I'm thinking maybe 4 or 5 larger exhibits, and the rest will be there'll be a center habitat itself, and then of course there would be the few exterior habitats that kind of surround it, that are kind of indoor and outdoor from the dome. They kind of protrude outwards. So, and of course, we're going to have to feature Maniac, one of the largest saltwater crocodiles on display, which is right here at the Reptile Gardens. I believe he's right around 19 feet long, give or take in there, maybe 20. I think the largest one is in Australia, which is 22 feet long. That's in captivity. Maniac actually came from Australia, and it replaced Killer, which was a nearly an 18-foot Nile crocodile that the Reptile Gardens have. So about the build a little bit, as you can see, I'm using my utility mega blueprint to help use a lot of create a lot of the utility aspects, and I wanted to make sure that I put it high enough so that when we come to the front entrance, we can easily hide it with some plaster and so forth. So I put the ventilation towards the top area, water and gas and electrical and so forth in there, so that way it kind of gave it a realistic view. And we could easily cover it up with some plaster panels when it comes to areas that guests will be walking through, so that it's not like, doesn't look too industrialized. I chose to go with the light pink, kind of a salmon color for the plaster on the exterior, and kind of a limeish forest green almost, if that's even a color for the trimming. Instead of doing each individual panel as a grid, I kind of did the glass itself as one group. So then that way I can just select it all and move the dome wherever I need to. And then of course the bottom portion obviously was individual gridded pieces that we can move around. So it's a lot easier to select one piece and then, or select it all and move it around to where you need to be to get it where you want it to be within your part file. So all in all, I think it turned out really great. I'm really happy with how it turned out. And in just a few seconds here, we're going to be going into the B-roll and taking a look inside of the Sky Dome. So, one of the things I did want to mention before we do go into the B-roll though, as you can see, I'm doing the null habitat around this area. I actually ended up just scratching this and doing more of a squarish type build, it just was easier to implement in here. And I'll probably round it out in a little bit, as you'll see in the B-roll as well. The other thing that I did is instead of using the plaster pieces that you see at the top portion or that roof or the floor trim, I actually ended up just using the pathing. It worked out very well. And it's actually the same pathing that they actually have in the zoo itself. Now, I am using the free build mod to create all the pathing, and some people have kind of commented, how do you get your pathing that way? It's because the pathing tool that I'm using is not, it's kind of released to the restrictions of the pathing. The downside is with that is when you are using like this type of pathing tool in the game, you got to be very careful, because there are times that it won't actually connect. It looks like it connects, but it doesn't with other paths. Also, there is a bit of a restriction when it comes to getting the path if it's below another path. You got to be sure you're still hitting that depth. So, all right, well, we got about 15 seconds until we hit the B-roll here, so I'm going to go ahead and let you go, and we will see you on the other side. Alright, and we're back with the B-roll, and first off, we're just going to go right into it. We're going to go right into the entryway. As you can see, I really had this nice little pillars and so forth. Kind of got to smooth it out a little bit more so that it doesn't phase fight and so forth. But I discovered these old classical doors that I forgot all about, and they work really well with this build. As I mentioned, I went ahead and put in plaster to kind of cover the areas of the utilities area. So as you can see there, we'll be putting some doors, access doors and stuff like that. This right here is, of course, the entryway into the main lower area that will have the exhibits. And I'll be rounding off the corners and everything so that it doesn't look so round. But then, of course, we have the upper area that will be full of exhibits. Exhibit animals, just like they do in real life. We'll be getting that here done here in a little while. And then this pathing here which I was pointing out earlier. I'm looking at some pictures, and this is the exact same pathing that they have in real life at the Safari Dome at the Reptile Gardens. So this works out really well, and so I'm going to use it. I'm going to keep it. So it's not exactly tit for tat, but you know, it works out very well. And as for our utilities, they go all the way around, and I got two levels here. We have the upper level here for HVAC and so forth, and then we have our lower level that will be putting some through here. And basically what I'll do is when it comes down to the point of where there is a area that our habitat is, we'll just kind of delete a lot of this stuff, maybe put some concrete or plaster, so then it kind of hides all that stuff from the animals and everything. And eventually it'll just kind of come off on the back side here, where we'll probably put a lot of the main utility stuff here. So without further ado, there you have it. We're going to kind of take a little exterior look of the dome itself and how nicely it came about. Of course, you know, there's a little bit of phase fighting right there, which is fine because I'm going to tear that out and put an exhibit there anyways. So nonetheless, I think this turned out very nice compared to what it was kind of turning out to be, and it also kind of gave me some great ideas of how to create the Omaha Zoo as well, the Desert Dome as well as the Lee Jungle. Now that I kind of discovered my own way of creating the domes to get that perfect spherical shape, I think that building domes in the future is going to be a lot easier for me now. So there you have it. Episode 2 is completed, and next episode we're going to actually put in the exhibits and the habitat and everything within the Sky Dome. So if you like the video, make sure you like this, show your support so other people can find it as well. If you're a first time viewer, make sure you go ahead and subscribe so then you can get notified of all our upcoming scheduled streams, as well as other updated content that is coming out on a regular basis. So till next time, ladies and gentlemen, as always, build, play, and enjoy. This is Jayrassic, signing out. Goodbye, everyone. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, make sure you smash that like button and put a comment down below. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe to my weekly release content. You can follow me on Steam, Discord, Twitch, Twitter, and now even Facebook. Until next time, build, play, and enjoy.